Jane and Ron to participate?
Well, they're not, if they weren't members, I mean, they haven't, so they just jumped on tonight, and this, I'm sorry, just refresh my mind, these are new hearings, or?
No, they're the ones from last time.
Yeah, so they didn't participate previously in the hearing, so they're not really eligible to do that because they literally didn't exist. So that really isn't an option. I think the applicants really would need a continuance to let the other members that aren't here right now participate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully you'll show up by then.
I started the recording and I started the broadcasting, Andy, because it's after 6:45.
Okay. Then I shall
Maybe,
start the meeting.
I know. We can at least get through everything until we could start working on things and go through until we get to those two projects, the two projects that we need him for at the very end.
Yeah. No, we'll do that. All righty. Let's bring this meeting to order. It's the June 2nd, 2020 Newburyport Conservation Commission meeting taking place on the Zoom platform. And this meeting is being recorded. Start off, I want to welcome our two new members, Jane Sender and Ron DeCola. Thank you guys for volunteering. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's get on with the May 19th, 2020 meeting minutes. Do we have any, actually, can we even approve the meeting minutes?
No,
Since
we don't have a quorum.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's table that for now. See if David shows up. Next item are Plum Island updates. We have any Plum Island updates?
No Plum Island updates at this time.
It still exists.
It still exists, yep. Mhm.
Very good. All right, let's get into certificates of compliance, request for determination, etc. First item is U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, a citywide request for determination of applicability.
Okay, do we have the applicant for, if the applicant is here for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service project, could you raise your hand so that we can unmute you and you can present the project? Okay, there we go. Lauren Healy, there you go.
Hello, are you able to hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Perfect.
And Lauren, you can just let me know if there's a specific slide you want me to go to on the screen.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so we're renewing our permit for the Newburyport RDA. We've done this we're applying this year, and then we also did it in 2017 and in 2012. And there is an extension in between that period. The project is very similar as the project you saw in 2017. We continue to treat a lot of sites along the Merrimack River in the west, as you see on this map. And if you scroll to the next slide.
Oh, yep, okay.
Looks like, okay, cool. It just took a second to catch up. We also treat the area near Mass Audubon and the Parker River Refuge headquarters, as well as the Newburyport owned section of the basin. For all the sites that you see here, the green indicates that we have homeowner permission. So we've reached out to them and gotten a signed form saying it's okay for us to go on their property. And then all the dots you see there are sites where we found pepperweed and have been treating it. This past year, we had great success with the project, and we're actually able to treat almost all sites in Newburyport other than those that there is construction going on or PCBs near the sewer treatment plant. So for that reason, we weren't able to treat those sites, but other than that, we had great success with the project. We've seen a lot of our sites start to decrease in size and are actually finally starting to see a lot of sites become clear. Many of the sites started off as huge plots with many meters of pepperweed, and now we're just down to a couple of stems. So our RDA is to basically just to be able to continue that work.
Anybody got any questions?
I'm just wondering, with your success, can you consider expanding to more sites, or are there not any sites
Yeah.
to?
Yes, with this project, actually kind of a greater scope for this project is we actually work on the watershed level. So this project happens throughout the entire Great Marsh in 7 other towns, as well as a couple towns near Boston, like Revere and Nahant. We also work in New Hampshire, an early detected species, so it hasn't really infested very much there, as well as in Maine. So the main battle kind of is in Massachusetts, where it has infested, and we're trying to keep it from spreading north. And so as we've started to see the sites become easier and easier to pull, as it takes less time, we've also expanded the scope of the project and started to map areas and reach out to new partners.
Hi, Lauren, this is Ron. What percentage of your work is mechanical and which is chemical? Is it 50-50, or is one more than the other? And
Yeah,
how do you
so
decide?
it depends, on the area. So in Salisbury, for example, most of the treatment there is herbicide applications, whereas in Newburyport, since we're more on kind of smaller plots of land and where people are closer by or might have dogs and things like that, it tends to be a lot more of hand pulling. Whereas in Salisbury, we're in a pretty remote part of the marsh. So I would say in Newburyport, it's probably 90% mechanical treatment.
Thank you.
Okay.
Lauren, I have a question. This is Julia. In terms of the chemical treatment, are you getting permission from individual property owners regarding which chemical you're using? I know that a lot of people are not interested in using the glyphosate these days because of its sort of hazardous nature to public health. And I'm just wondering if you've had any resistance from property owners about specific chemical use.
Yeah, so we usually send them a form that says, would you like to authorize us to do mechanical treatment, spray treatment, or both, or neither?
Okay.
And I would say for the most part, majority of people just check the box of both is great, go for it, whatever. But if people are interested in learning more, there's also a part where they can check off, I'm interested in learning more, and they'll put their email address, and then we provide them all the spec sheets for the herbicides that we use, as well as give them more information that's in a bit more of a publicly accessible format.
Okay, great. And does that include when you're on city property? Have you gotten permission from the city? Is there any public property involved in this work?
I would have to double check, but I believe there is not any city property.
Okay, because I do believe that the Parks Commission, like if you were going to be working at Joppa Park for any reason, I'm not sure that there is pepperweed over there anymore, but I think the Parks Commission has made a policy not to use glyphosate on any of the public parks in the city.
Yeah, and I know if it was on a public site, we really don't do much herbiciding in Newburyport. So it's very unlikely that it would be on one of those sites.
Okay. Anything else? All right. Do we hear a motion?
Make a motion to have I think it's a -2 determination.
I'll second that.
Okay, roll call. Jane Sender. Was that, we could not hear, your mic's off.
Sorry, yes.
Ron DeCola,
Yes.
Steve Moore,
Yes.
Paul Healy,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Okay, just as an FYI, David let me know that they're having he's got an issue at home and he's gonna try and make it later on in the meeting. So we will have a quorum if he shows up for the last two. We will not if we don't. All right. Next item
Awesome.
is Charles Palmisano, 10 Jefferson Court, request for certificate of compliance, 051-698.
Okay. 698, sorry, hold on. I'm going to try and find this. All right, here's the 698. Mary Rimmer. Is Mary Rimmer in attendance? Let's see. Okay, Mary, I'm going to allow you to talk, unmute you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, hi Mary.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? So this first one, 0510698, was a project that was permitted, gosh, back in 2008 or something, 2005. 2005, and the work was never initiated, correct?
Correct.
So this is similar to the certificates of compliance that we had for 20 Graff Road at the last meeting, where it would be issuing a certificate of compliance for an invalid order of conditions because no work was ever initiated.
Julie, you might want to shut off Lauren Healy's mic also.
Okay,
Thank you.
got it.
Okay. We have any questions? Comments?
Make a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for an invalid order of conditions.
Second.
Okay, Jane Sender,
Yes.
Stephen Moore,
Yes.
Ron DeCola,
Yes.
Paul Healy.
Yes.
I vote yes. Okay. And I'm calling you in the order as I see you on the on my screen. So, all right. Next item: Charles Palmisano, 10 Jefferson Court, request for certificate of compliance, 051-0805.
Hey, Mary, do you want to explain why you combined these two?
So the surveyor doing the as-built plan did a single as-built plan for both of those projects rather than separate. So he wrote a single letter and he's referencing both the project numbers. So the first one, 0805, was for a garage addition, retaining walls, some stone wall, and some grading. The order was extended in 2013 and again in 2016, and then amended, I think, in 2017, a couple different times. So this was the final iteration of the plan.
Okay, and Mary, this is the addition that's to the left on the as-built that we're looking at right now.
That's
There were two additions and two
yes,
separate
that
notices.
is correct.
Okay, so it's this piece right here,
I'm sorry, that is the.
or is it this piece, this garage?
It's the garage. Well, this one is the garage edition.
Okay, got it.
805, yes, the other side, I'm sorry.
Yep. And this is the deck in the back that's cantilevered.
Correct.
Okay. So there were no real deviations from this plan other than the cantilevered deck, correct?
Yep, I mean, the as-built shows that the foundation was pulled back about 2 feet, so it's slightly smaller than what was originally proposed.
Right.
And other than that, it's pretty much as shown on the original revised plans.
Any questions, you guys?
Well, just which, I mean, 805 references, I think, the addition on the left. 922 is the garage on the right.
805 is the garage on the right.
Okay.
All right, so we'll just vote on that one after I get a motion.
Okay, make a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for 0510805.
Second,
Jane Sender,
Yes.
Stephen Moore,
Yes.
Ron DeCola,
Yes.
Paul Healy,
yes.
and I vote yes. All right, since we're talking about 0922, let's do that one. Charles Palmisano, 10 Jefferson Court, request certificate of compliance, 0510922. We all set with that?
Mary, do you want to explain what the deviations were from on that project?
That one, it looks like it was pretty much the same. I'm sorry, that I'm reading Steve, reading the surveyor's notes here.
Yeah, so
And-
0922 was the permit in 2014. It was the 2-car garage addition to the existing house, right?
Okay, so I had them reversed. I apologize. So yes,
Yeah,
it was,
that's what I thought.
yep. Okay, that's correct. Yep.
Right, so we just flip-flop the two.
So it's the addition that is slightly smaller, the addition to the left that's slightly smaller than the approved plan. That's what-
Exactly.
was.
Okay, yeah, the
Okay.
garage was done according to the approved plan. And this addition on the left was smaller. The foundation is smaller, and they built that sort of retaining wall out of stone around the side there, where you can see it says stone steps right in the pathway, and then the cantilevered balcony behind. So if you guys have seen from the photos that are in the application, which I can go to if you'd like.
Yeah, why don't you bring those up?
Yeah.
Public can see it too.
Here. Okay. Okay, this is the
That's the-
first, this is 805, correct?
That's the garage side.
This is the garage side. Goes around the
Mhm.
back. These are the stone steps that come around the back. There's the patio. This is all in buffer zone. And you can see the deck is, the cantilever deck is elevated. It's not really cantilevered. It's elevated and it's over gravel, so it's pervious. And all this was disturbed area before. And I think that's it for photos. The Merrimack River is down off to the left.
If you go up to the next photo, so on top of those stone steps to the left is where the septic system is, and that's one of the,
Yes,
that's the next certificate of compliance.
exactly.
Mhm.
Okay. Yep. So this is the garage addition.
Okay.
There you can see it. It was done. I remember the site, at the site visit, this was done according to the approved plans, as far as I can tell as well.
Okay. We have any questions? Get a motion?
Make a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for 0510922.
I'll second,
Okay, Jane Sender,
Yes.
Steve Moore,
Yes.
Ron DeCola,
Yes.
Paul Healy,
yes.
and I vote yes. Okay. All right. Next item, last item here. Charles Palmisano, 10 Jefferson Court, request certificate of compliance, And that would be 0510897.
Right, and this was the new septic that they put in a few years ago. So, and as Mary indicated, when looking at the pictures on the last plan, the septic system is located over to sort of like adjacent to the driveway above where the, above and to the right of where the new garage is. So you can see on here, this is the new garage addition, and this is where they put in the septic. They moved it as far back and away from the wetlands as they could. It met all Title V regulations and was approved by the Board of Health and all of that. So that is underground.
Okay,
This is the as-built plan. You can see they've got the 50-foot buffer zone shown. So it's just outside of the buffer zone up here.
okay.
How come there's no sewer line down there?
It's one of the few properties in Newburyport that didn't get a sewer line, I believe. There are not very many left.
No.
Hmm.
Okay. We all set?
Make a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for 051-0897.
Second,
Jane Sender,
Yes.
Stephen Moore,
Yes.
Ron DeCola,
Yes.
Paul Healy,
yes.
and I vote yes. All right. Julie, I still see Lauren Healy and Mary Rimmer up on the up on our video feed. I don't know.
Okay, I should mute them. Hold on. Mary's muted, Lauren's muted.
I don't know why they're still showing, but. All right, get a motion to open up public hearings.
So moved.
Second.
Jane Sender,
Yes.
Steve Moore,
Yes.
Ron DeCola,
Yes.
Paul Healy,
Yes.
I vote yes. First item is Jordy Vining for the city of Newburyport, Parker Street, notice of intent.
Jordy, I'm not seeing Jordy in the attendees list. Wait,
Yeah,
someone,
he's there, I
oh, here he is. Here he is. Got it. Oops.
Hey, there I am. Can you all hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Hello. I believe we have representatives from TEC here as well, Pete Ellison, and I think Lori Aho. Mary Rimmer worked with TEC on this project as well. But so I think I'm mainly going to turn it over to Pete to make the presentation to you, but I just thought I would try to quickly set the stage here. This Parker Street Shared Use Pathway project, this is part of this broader loop that the city's been working on for the past 2 decades of the Clipper City Rail Trail. And this is one of these gaps that we've been seeking to fill in between phase 1 and phase 2. There's been, I think this is a pretty important public safety project, as well as other components of the project in terms of safety of pedestrians as well as bicyclists and getting them off road here. You all, I'm pretty sure all are familiar with this area, but this is kind of a no man's land, no person's land, whatever the saying might be for pedestrians and bicyclists. There's no accommodations for them. It's a difficult area, and particularly the intersection with State Street and Parker Street and the Route 1 Rotary. So this project has been in the works for a few years. We are on track to finish design this summer and bid this project out in the fall so that we can sort of build this section. Basically, it's to create a safe crossing of State Street with a signalized hawk signal, pedestrian activated signal there, and a crosswalk and curbing bump out. And then the 10-foot paved rail trail pathway running along the northern edge of the Parker Street right-of-way. This is basically being tucked inside the public right-of-way, coming pretty much up to the line, going next to True Value there, and then over to the east, over towards the entrance to Shepherd's Auto, which is where we have the wetland impacts that that Pete will talk about. We, from a broader perspective, we looked at a dozen different ways to try to safely get pedestrians and bicyclists through this area. This really does seem to be the best way. Julie's circling the area of impact there, and there are other projects that are being worked on in this area in terms of Ed Hill's project to the east there, which includes a shared use pathway as part of his special permit condition. And over on the other side, Mass DOT is working on a crossing of Route 1 and the Rotary. So there's all these sort of different puzzle pieces fitting together. So maybe with that said, I don't know if Julie's already done it, but try to shift over to Pete Ellison to narrate this for you all.
Yep. Thank you, Jordy. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. My name's Peter Ellison. I'm a civil engineer with TEC, working with Jordy on the project, and also on the call with me is Lori Aho, just in case any highway specific questions come up. Jordy did a good little intro, so I'll keep it brief, but the main purpose of the project is to provide the 10-foot shared use path on the north side of Parker Street. The project also includes some minor modifications and improvements to the stormwater system, a new crosswalk across State Street, mill and overlay of the pavement on Parker Street, and the construction of a guardrail in between the street and the shared use path. Now, as far as resource areas go, there are two bordering vegetated wetlands, one on the north side of Parker Street and one on the south side of Parker Street. To the north of Parker Street, this is over by Shepherd's Auto Center, is the A-series wetlands. That wetlands is kind of straddles the Shepherd's Auto driveway, with a portion of it being to the east and then the larger portion of it to the west. This area, I think Julie is zooming in, great. So this is the area where the project could not avoid direct impacts to the A-series wetlands. We did, as Jordy stated, looked at multiple different ways to try and avoid or minimize impacts. What we did to try and avoid impacts as best as possible is we skinnied the path up from 10 feet down to 8 feet in this area. And we're also providing a head wall, a drainage head wall along the north side of the path to reduce the overall slope impacts to the wetlands. The A-series wetlands is connected on the south side of the street to the B-series via a culvert under the road. And the B-series is important because they are hydraulically connected, and we are proposing to mitigate the impacts to the A-series by replicating adjacent to the B-series wetlands on the south side. So there's a total of 1,020 square feet of impacts proposed on the north side, and on the south side, we're proposing a mitigation area of 1,070 square feet. With that being said, we have filed a formal request for a variance to work within 25 feet and for the direct impacts to the wetlands with your commission. As far as stormwater management goes, we are providing an improvement to the current condition. It is a limited project, and it's also a redevelopment because we're reducing the overall impervious area on Parker Street and in the intersection with State Street. And we're going to provide improved capture by adding new drainage structures, new deep sump catch basins with hoods. And we are going to just retain the existing drainage patterns in place. The project was filed with Mass DEP, and at this time we have not received any comments. And with that being said, I would be happy to send it back to you, Julia, or to the commission for any questions.
Yeah. So are you you're going to pipe the wetlands basically? Is that what's happening here?
The wetlands on the north side are connected to the B series wetlands on the south side by an existing culvert.
Right.
So that culvert will remain in place, and the replication area would be constructed on the south side of the road adjacent to the B series wetlands.
Okay, but basically on the north side, the wetlands will be removed and there'll be a pipe taking their place? Is that what's happening, or?
The shared use path will be going, directly where the wetlands are located now, as well as the side slope along the edge of the path.
If I could weigh in a little bit here, Steve may be asking, because it's a little bit different over on the Ed Hill side, where they are putting a pipe in where the swale is, as I recall.
Yeah.
The situation actually is a little bit different on this side of the Shepherd's Auto driveway. There's a good chunk of this area which is an upland island, actually. So the wetlands sort of come around this upland island area. And so just in terms of how the hydrology works, like Pete was outlining, the flow of water is going to be essentially the same in terms of where the water goes, and that's being augmented by that number 11, that new head wall back on the backside there, which will bring water to the existing inlet, which goes to the existing pipe to the other side.
I think also Steve's asking, and this is different again, like Jordy said, from what happened up at Eddie Hill's project, where they sort of put the swale through a culvert and kept the flow the same. I believe in this particular case, it's actually going to be filled. So, right, Jordy, this wetland along the edge is going to be filled in to have the pathway go over it, and then that is what requires the replication area on the other side.
Okay, but right now there's water, I guess. Where is the culvert that goes under Parker Street? Is it east or west of where we're talking about?
All right. I need to point out the culvert, you guys. Is it?
See where, I'm sorry, it's Lori Aho. See where structure number 9 is?
Yes, that's right.
That's
right
where
there?
the start of the culvert is. And then you could see it as a faint dashed line that goes to a head wall on the other side of the road.
Okay,
to the wetland B series.
Got it. So it comes down over here?
Yep.
Like that?
Correct.
Okay.
So is the wetland being to the right or east of the culvert? Is the existing wetland being piped? Is there a pipe connecting to the culvert?
There's a pipe that's connecting from the head wall to structure 10, then to structure 9, which will be constructed over the existing culvert. And then it will continue under the road to the B series.
And to the left or west of structure 9, that's going to be filled.
Correct. So the wetlands on the north side, with you can see the shared use path, is you can see where the numbered stations 3, 4. That's the shared use path. That's where there's an existing. And where the crosshatches, that's like the upland island. So that's actually not even truly wetland. It's, as Jody mentioned, it flows around that crosshatched upward island. So we're going to be filling a portion of it. The wetland will continue from where it is today on the other side of the shared use path into the head wall at 11. Because what's happening to now, it's almost acting like a small drainage ditch for the roadway.
Yeah.
Adjacent to between Station 14 and 1550. And that's what's being filled in and replaced with the catch basin that you'll see there at Station 7. And then again, the head wall at 11 will pick up the, will continue the existing drainage pattern from the wetland A over to across the street to wetland B.
Okay. So on the USGS map, there's what shows as a perennial stream coming down from the pond up by the cemetery. And when we permitted Shepherd's parking lot on the southerly side of Parker Street, they went to great lengths to prove that that was really an intermittent stream. So how are you handling the flow from that? Because it does flow intermittently.
Do you mean the flow that comes from the side of Shepherd's?
Well, there's what shows up on the map is a perennial stream coming down from the pond. I'm not sure where it goes on Shepherd's land.
Yep. The flow that would be kind of tied into this wetland on the Shepherd's Auto Center lot is all hydrologically connected and will flow into structure number 11. So we're providing a 12-inch drainage pipe that will get the water from the Auto Center side across to the south side of Parker Street.
Okay.
So does it go, it comes in through 11, heads over to 9, and then across the street? Is that what you're sort of saying?
Yeah, 11 to 10 to 9.
11
and
to
then-
10 to 9 and
Yep,
across.
and then across. Yep.
So the area that's going to be filled is sort of in and around through here, right alongside the road,
That's correct.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. There's a
where
small.
this is the upland island, and the wetland kind of wraps around it like that.
You got it. Yep. And it functions today kind of like it's all sheet flow off the roadway. So I think most of the water that ends up in that swale is just stormwater runoff from Parker Street.
Yeah, I do think it might be useful to have a site visit here too. Just to get our bearings and see on the ground what's going on.
Might have to hire a cop to protect us from the traffic.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I would just note too, I think someone mentioned earlier the public safety aspects of this project. Since that new development, the condominiums have gone in, I've often noticed families with kids and strollers and dogs walking that road with no real safety factor to the head of the rail trail. So I think that it's an important aspect of this project.
Yeah, there's no doubt that is not a happy place to walk. I think
It might also be helpful for the commission on a site visit to take a look at the wetland replication, the proposed wetland replication area, so you can see how that relates to the existing wetland on the other side of the road.
Yeah, and there's no current connection between north and south side wetlands right now. So this project would make that connection.
There's an existing culvert that connects the two.
That number 9 structure going underneath that Juliet outlined earlier.
Yeah, there's a culvert that connects the hydrology from one side of the road to the other, right in here.
Okay, so that's the existing culvert. Okay,
Correct.
and if you look at page 25 of the submission, it has the USGS map, and you can see a perennial stream coming from the pond back there.
And I don't believe anyone has ever seen an actual stream coming up to Parker Street in anything that looks like a stream, as opposed to something that's sort of filtering into the wetland area, the Phragmites and so forth. I know Mary Rimmer's gone in there in terms of her delineation, and I, as a layperson, have sort of crashed around in there looking for whatever we might be able to see. So it's on the ground, you have a sort of low quality wetland with the Phragmites and so forth, and the water sort of filtering through, as opposed to a stream bed or something along those lines.
Yeah, I think we did I was just referring to the map and where it's most likely a, drainage area. I think when we were doing a site visit for the Shepherd's Auto thing across the street, we did some crashing around in there too, and it was not easy to find.
Yes.
Yeah. There was a lot of crashing and not much found.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, in fact, I walked all the way up to the pond and I couldn't find anything around the edge of the pond that even looked like it was a stream leaving there. So.
No, they took care of that a long time ago. So, do we have anything else at this point, or you want to schedule a site visit?
Yeah, I think a site visit would be really helpful.
Yeah.
All right, Jordy, what do you think would work for you all and your team and the commissioners?
Yeah, I think we're probably going to be flexible based on when the Concom is going to be available.
This week or next week? Anybody got a preference?
Doesn't matter to me. There's nothing on my schedule.
Yeah, Thursday I just can't. But
What about Monday next week, the 8th, or Wednesday, the 10th?
Either day is okay. I just need to. I have an appointment I got to be at 11:30. But
On which day?
On Monday.
Okay.
I'm free on both days.
Yeah.
What about an afternoon on Monday or afternoon on Wednesday?
Wednesday would be better for me.
It would be what for you?
Better Wednesday.
Yeah, I think it would be better for me too.
Any specific times that are good for you guys?
That
Anytime.
day, all day.
Jordy, how about you? Do you have any appointments on Wednesday in the afternoon that we can work around?
Wednesday, I am looking unscheduled, so I'm fine. TEC, what about you all?
Yeah, I can make it work. No problem. Yep.
I want to say 2, 3, 4, it doesn't matter to me.
I prefer a little earlier rather than later in
Earlier?
the afternoon. I had something at 4.
Okay, want to try 2?
It's fine with me.
Yeah.
All right, 2 on Wednesday, June 10th for the site visit.
Okay.
Would note that there's not a lot of places to park in this vicinity.
Right.
So kind of keep that in mind. And True Value, or their Ace Hardware actually now, but they do not like anyone parking there who's not going in the store. So that's just something to keep in mind. I don't, the rail trail itself only has a couple of spaces down the line. There's the cemetery and Shepherds and so forth. Anyway, everyone's going to have to sort of figure that out about whether they park on State Street and walk over, or something like that.
I mean, you can park basically wherever you want at the cemetery.
Yes, with the caveat of when I did that, someone ran over a grave, and that was a bit of an issue.
Wow. Wow.
Good.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't suggest running over a grave.
Right.
Well, no, I was not suggesting that you were, but that is a risk apparently of parking there.
Right.
So
All
the
right, so
hardware
we'll all
store,
try to find a place to park.
Yeah.
the hardware store doesn't like you to park in their parking that's there on Parker Street?
That's a nice little joke there, but yeah, they'll tell you.
Oh, Okay.
Yeah, there's a sign there, because they're worried about the courthouse, people
Exactly.
parking there and filling it
Oh.
up.
All right.
But isn't that parking going away as part of this plan?
The parking on the Parker Street side is indeed going away. That's, they have that as their sort of their employee parking.
Right.
And as you get farther and farther east, that employee parking sort of disappears, and there is maybe sort of a space or two area where a car could get in there. But anyway, just sort of word to the wise, right, as to where one goes.
Okay.
Okay, 2:00 on Wednesday the 10th. Sounds like we have a plan.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So Lisa and Mike and Rory Cataniani, we do not have a quorum right now to hear your projects. David Vine had an emergency, and Dan Warshall was not able to make it, so we do not have a quorum. We're hoping David could show up, but he was not able to. So
Hold on, I'm gonna unmute these guys. Wait a minute. Let me just allow everybody to talk who needs to for this project here.
you're on, Lisa.
Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, yeah, so Dan, I noticed in the beginning, it's an interesting thing when you start the meetings, we kind of come in when Andy is announcing things. So I figured out by your various votes that Dan wasn't there, and I did hear the part that David hadn't joined yet. And we believe he's not going to be joining at all, and we are the last game in town.
Yeah, yeah, that's it was a last minute thing. He sent us an email saying he was going to try to, but I'd be willing to take a I don't know, 5 or 10 minute break, but I can't guarantee that he's going to be back.
And Dan was a last minute notice too, that he had a conflict that he couldn't get out of tonight. I don't know what it was.
So your next meeting is in 2 weeks, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Okay.
16.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we need all the members, obviously at least one of them. So we have to ask for a continuance. There's not really an option, because we'd like to, hopefully we're going to close it out tonight. So sadly, we'll ask for a continuance until you have sufficient members on the 16th.
Okay. Sorry about that.
I'm sorry about that too. I mean, with one down, we thought, well, as long as David's here, and we would be able to handle it. And then we had no idea that David would have this emergency at the last minute. So I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's not, I mean, these things happen. It's not his fault. No, it's just, obviously it's a process. We got it.
Yeah.
Julia, though, maybe in the next couple of days we can wrap up so you have in your file those final documents you were looking for.
That would be great.
Okay. I sent you a couple of later emails that gave you some more information from Caitlin.
Okay. Perfect.
So we would ask for continuance, Mr. Chair, till the 16th.
Okay. Any motion?
Joe, before we do that, we need to continue Parker Street.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is correct. Sorry about that. Let
I'll
somebody
make a motion. I'll make a motion to continue the Parker Street one till the next meeting. What is it, June 16th?
16th.
Second?
Okay, Jane Sender,
Yes.
Steve Moore,
Yes.
Ron DeCola,
Yes.
Paul Healy,
Yes.
I vote yes. Now on to continuing 249, 251 Water Street notice of intent.
I'll make a motion to continue to June 16.
Second?
Jane Sender,
Yes.
Steve Moore,
Yes.
Paul Healy,
Yes.
Ron DeCola.
Yes.
I vote yes. And our last item is Roy Cataniani, Sports Medicine North, 20 Henry Graff Road. Notice of intent. So you can hear us, Mr. Cataniani? Or
Yep.
Tom Hughes, whoever.
Yeah, I mean, same as last. I mean, we're disappointed, but these things do happen. So we don't really have much choice but to request a continuance to the next meeting.
Okay.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Jane Sender,
Yes.
Steve Moore,
Yes.
Paul Healy,
Yes.
Ron DeCola,
Yes.
and I vote yes.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, sorry, again.
All right, thanks, guys.
Okay, get a motion to close the public hearings.
So moved.
I'll second. Jane Sender,
Yes.
Steve Moore,
Yes.
Paul Healy,
Yes.
Ron DeCola,
Yes.
and I vote yes. So that will make for a much shorter meeting tonight.
And a much longer meeting on the 16th.
Yeah, yes.
Here we
Oh,
go.
lucky. So we'll be continuing, we'll have all 3 of these public hearings at the next meeting,
Okay.
as
Yeah,
well
yeah.
as some new ones. We have a couple new ones on Plum Island as well for the next meeting.
Okay.
So there's
Julie,
no,
can you send, what? Go ahead, Steve.
so there's no way that Jane and Ron can listen to the recording from our last meeting and participate?
Well, I actually did listen to the recording from your last meeting, but I guess because we weren't commissioners, it doesn't.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
it.
we could ask Andy about that, but my understanding would be that you weren't commissioner, right? Like you said, you weren't commissioners at the last meeting, so it's
That's
not.
correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
But we will have several new projects for you to vote on at the meeting on the 16th. I will be emailing you the information, and as always, the links to the documents will be on the website just as they were for this meeting. They may already be, some of them may already be up there.
okay. Julie, can you send out a notice to everybody, including Dan and David, that we got a site visit?
Yes, and I will also get them confirmation from them about attendance on the 16th because we do need them.
Okay.
Yep. I'll send them site visit. Okay. Anything else?
I don't have anything else. Anybody have any final words? See, Jane and Ron, it's painless.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Very good.
This is one of the easiest meetings we've had in a long time, actually.
Wait until you're here till 11 o'clock.
Yeah, well, that ain't gonna, Jane's had a lot later ones apparently than that,
Right,
so.
right. I was on the Newton Conservation Commission, and we met once a month, and we were always there at midnight and sometimes at 1:30. It was brutal.
Oh,
Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
that brutality will not happen under my watch.
I'm like that.
Good.
Highly efficient, right?
Right.
Thanks to Joe.
Highly, I am not gonna go that late,
Right.
so. All right. Steven,
Thanks,
you wanna make
everyone.
a motion?
Okay.
yeah.
Bye-bye.
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, second.
Jane Sender,
Yes.
Stephen Moore,
Yes.
Paul Healy,
Yeah.
Ron DeCola,
Yes, sir.
and I also say yes. All right, folks. Have a good one.
Okay.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night,
Thank you.
everyone.
Night.
Thank you.